Hello and welcome back, weary travelers. I'm sorry for the delay in this installment, but this show is so shitty and so distasteful and so unlike the source material, I needed a break. Now, without further ado, let's jump back into this executive's cash grab disguised as the Sandman. Episode 4, Brief Lives. For those that want to follow along in the comic, you can find it in issues 41 through 49. We begin this episode already comprised from the last episode. Morpheus stands in the balcony of his palace, allowing himself to be drenched in the rain. Why, you ask? Because of how he feels for Nada leaving him. And as you last remembered, she left the dreaming to live in the waking world.
Get the fuck out of here!
And as I said in the last video, Nada's story arc was completed with her being reborn as a baby in Hong Kong and Morpheus wishing her a good life. The end. Here in this episode, the show substitutes an unknown love interest leaving Morpheus with Nada.
That sounds very stylish.
Some of you may say that's a convenient way of bridging the two story arcs together. The problem is, it compromises Morpheus as a character. However, given that the show doesn't care about Morpheus' agency or him as a character, the show, as Neil Gaiman would say, couldn't give two fucks about the accurate depiction of our titular character.
And that's a hell of a price to pay for being stylish.
After standing in the rain for who knows how long, the insolent Lucian stops by, and Morpheus, the Lord of the Realm, who's lived for millennia, asks Lucian for counseling. As insignificant these small changes are in terms of the show's accuracy, it speaks volumes in terms of the showrunner's preferred narrative and the contempt of the main protagonist simply because he's a white male. It is shameless to the point that you can't call it subtle or happenstance. Not only are these changes premeditated, but also shamelessly obvious.
It's a complete crap!
Before Lucian shows off that the creation of the Lord Shaper is smarter and wiser than her creator, the insolent Matthew arrives, announcing that they have a visitor. At the door is Sister Delirium, wanting to talk to Morpheus. As you can see, this is accurate to the source material. In regards to story or character development, is this necessary? No, it isn't. And I'm not knocking the show for doing this. What I want to highlight is, why are they being accurate on things that are unimportant while being inaccurate on things that are important in regards to story and character?
This is shit, but hey,
Story and drama wise, wouldn't the budget have been better spent on Morpheus' duel with Azazel than greeting Delirium at the palace gates? This is a clear example of poor storytelling and poor planning, all in the guise of mimicking the source material while completely changing the story and the characters. But then again, what else is new? Anyway, Delirium wants to speak to Morpheus because she wants to find their brother Destruction. She tells him she's already spoken to the other Endless, except Destiny. In his gallery, he speaks to Black Death, searching for their brother, and then speaks to Destiny. They both tell him to basically blow her off, but Destiny mentions Nada, which piques his interests. Speaking with Delirium again, she says she has a few leads that can help them find their brother, and Morpheus agrees to accompany her. As they begin to leave, Morpheus informs the insolent Lucian where they're going and to keep an eye on the dreaming while he's away. Then the insolent Lucian questions Morpheus if he's going in hopes of running into Nada in the waking world, and Morpheus acknowledged that is a possibility. Now, is this source material accurate? Yes and no. Yes, Morpheus does have an ulterior motive in going with Delirium, and he doesn't have any expectations in finding their brother. However, he doesn't act so cheerful like a teenager going out on a date. This portrayal is so out of character, and we aren't even halfway done with the episode yet.
this is shit, but hey,
Anyway, they go to New York as Morpheus has asked an old acquaintance to aid them on their journey. We see they're using the volume set in place of New York, as everything looks phony and claustrophobic for a big city. Again, being the volume set means no location shooting, meaning no travel or location expenses.
this is shit, but hey.
Then we meet Wanda.
Cholo.
This version's Ruby is a trans woman, whereas the source material Ruby is just a biological woman. Why the change? Do you even have to ask the question? It is said that Wanda is an amalgamation of Ruby and another character from a different story arc that this show does not cover. If the show is going to completely ignore the other story arc, then what's the point in amalgamating the character? Oh, that's right. There is no point, but rather it's stated as an excuse to sub out a biological female for a tranny.
Fucking hell.
Again, zero fucks in regards to attention to detail, and the woke path is shamelessly shoved down our throats.
You sick, twisted fuck!
So he'll be chauffeuring them around from place to place. Their first lead is a race-swapped man. What else is new? Apparently, on his way home, he's killed during a construction site incident.
What the hell?
Now, why a construction site isn't fenced off and why they're working during the night makes no sense. What's the point of workers wearing hard hats if regular people are allowed to freely walk through the area? And of course, it's at night because it's easier to hide the volume set in the dark.
This is shit, but hey.
So lazy and no attention to detail. Do you really think there was any passion in making this show?
No.
So Black Death shows up to collect a dead guy, and the acting and the portrayal is wrong. Given that this is her job, and she's collected millions of lives, she acts like this was her first collected soul. As much as I don't like it, I won't knock the show for it, but rather chalk it up to my own subjectiveness.
This is shit, but hey.
Then Morpheus and Delirium knock on the man's door, and his son answers telling them their father just bought the farm.
Shit.
And that's that. We get no backstory of the man, how he knew destruction, and the secret life he's hidden from his family. This is all in the source material that has been omitted. Why? Because the show wanted to talk about Wanda. So being that the next lead is in Philly, Wanda suggests having dinner before going. Then Morpheus requests a destination that is popular, hoping to run into Nada. So instead of learning about the dead man and his relationship to destruction, we have to watch Wanda spout her life story about being a man while wanting to be a woman.
Fucking hell.
Now, do I care? No. But maybe you care, right? But I don't care that you care. What I care about is the story. Is he being trans relevant to the story? No. He wasn't a tranny in the source material, so this entire interlude is irrelevant.
It's a complete crap.
What about Wanda as a character? Is he relevant to the story? To some extent, yes, but being a tranny is immaterial. The show made the character a tranny and a sympathetic one in order to shamelessly push their narrative.
That's fucked up.
Just to be clear, if you like trannies and stories about trannies, I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all. The issue here is the brief live story arc isn't about trannies. This is supposed to be the Sandman, and although the comic touches upon woke themes and characters, it never overshadows the story that was told, nor did it ever affect Morpheus's agency. All of these changes, as you probably are aware of now, are 100% unacceptable.
This is some fucked up, repugnant shit.
So after the pointless interlude about Wanda, they make their way to a Philly strip club to see their next lead. The person they are meeting was their brother's former girlfriend, who goes by the name Ishtar. As she dances on stage, she leaves immediately upon seeing Morpheus. Now, being that Ishtar is supposed to be a god, and a god of sex for that matter, don't you think they'd cast a person that was a little bit more attractive?
Fuck you.
I'm not saying she's ugly, but she isn't someone you'd say,
Stop the press. Who is that?
but then I remember who they cast for Nada. Anyway, back in the dressing room, Morpheus is there and they speak about destruction. She briefly talks about their relationship and that she doesn't know where he is. Then Morpheus tells her that she might be in danger, and she straight out tells him that he's killed her just because of his visit.
Bullshit.
Then she lights a candle and changes her costume, stating that people have never seen her really dance. She bids him farewell, and we see the curtain catches fire from the candle. As she dances, patrons are mesmerized at her when Morpheus realizes the place is on fire. Then he yells to Wanda to run when the place explodes. Okay, you remember when I told you that Morpheus acting giddy like a schoolgirl was out of character? Well, this is even worse. Morpheus yelling in desperation is something that never would happen, and that's not even mentioning this entire sequence is not source material. And being that it isn't source material, and forcing Morpheus to act completely out of character once again, shows the blatant lack of attention to detail, the poor storytelling, and the shamelessness in so doing all of it. In the source material, does the place explode? Yes, it does, but not because of a fire. And on the fact that Morpheus and Party are not even there when it happens. It explodes because of Ishtar's dancing. That's a big change from some stupid candle being lit. Not only does the place explode, killing Ishtar and almost everybody else, but Ishtar did it knowing this would happen. Thus, even though she died, she did so willingly. Remember this point. Continuing with the source material, this was amalgamated with the motel that they all stayed at for the night, burning down. From the fire, Ruby dies. What caused the fire? Ruby caused it by falling asleep with a lit cigarette. Thus, from the source material, Ishtar dies because she decided to go out in a blaze of glory, and Ruby dies because of her own carelessness. Realizing that Ruby was killed due to his involvement in looking for their brother, Morpheus tells Delirium that there is too much collateral damage and ceases their journey with them both going back to their realms. Now, if both of them died solely because Dream and Delirium were looking for their brother, then who would you pin the fault on? Dream or Delirium? Without a doubt, it's Delirium. She's the one that wanted to find their brother. Dream, regardless of his ulterior motives in accompanying her and aiding in their search, would not have taken this journey on his own. Thus, none of this would have happened. In this version, the strip club explodes, killing everybody, including Wanda. And then Desire showed up, all upset that Morpheus went along with Delirium.
Shit.
Delirium tells Desire that it wasn't Dream's fault, since she asked him to join her. Then Desire tells her that Morpheus didn't go with her to find their brother, but went along in hopes of finding Nada. Hearing this news, Delirium gets all mad and storms off back to her realm.
Little fucking cunt.
So what is she all pissed off about? What do you think Morpheus runs into Nada during their journey? Is he not actively aiding her and accompanying her on this journey? Yes, and yes. The narrative wants to pin the blame all on Morpheus because white man bad.
Fucking hell.
Then we get the smug and condescending Desire, talking down to Morpheus, basically telling him that this is all his fault. And that's the narrative the show is shoving down our throats. I told you to remember Ishtar caused the explosion, not Morpheus. These people are dead because she decided to do that. Morpheus didn't demand to Ruby to stay at the motel that burnt down, nor did he cause the fire. However, he did feel sympathetic towards her death and was compelled to end the journey for the consideration of others if the collateral damage was caused by their actions. But here, it's all Morpheus' fault. His selfishness in accommodating his sister's wishes is now his fault. What led them to the strip club? Was it dream or delirium? That's right, delirium. Who lit the candle that burnt the place down? Ishtar. What exactly did Morpheus do wrong, other than humor Delirium's wishes in hopes of running into a former lover? That's right, nothing. Chicken shit, fucking all. Yet, this show wants to pile on all the hate and venom towards the white male. Again, It's pathetic, obvious, and shamelessly done.
Fuck that shit!
It's a complete crap.
This is an absolutely horrible retelling of the brief life story. Look at all the changes. Morpheus asking for counsel from an underling, and because she's a black female, she's wiser than her own creator.
Okay, fuck you. How's that?
Then we get a tranny swapped character for no reason other than to make the character a tranny.
No one said anything about the Cholo.
Pointless. Then the show omits the source material story beats in order to promote the tranny character. Even more pointless. And finally, they blend Ishtar and Wanda's death together so the show could pin it on the white male.
Fucking hell.
As a show that is supposed to be a recounting of the Sandman, going through season 1 and the Season of Mist story arc, this show is truly unbearable. Even if you remove the woke elements out of it, these character changes are still 100% unacceptable. Then you add in the woke elements, and what do you get? A show that is 100% unacceptable while pandering to a woke audience and promoting a false narrative. Then add on the fact of the cheap production value, the poor acting, the poor writing, and this piece of shit is what we get.
God damn it!
And let me state this clearly. There are people that said specifically, not that this is a good show, but a good retelling of the source material. Of course, the majority of those are woke shills that I couldn't care less about. However, there are some content creators that I respected and supposedly have read the source material. The only thing I can say is, what a joke! That's enough suffering for now. So let's grade this episode. Not knowing the source material, I'd give it a 4. That's being generous, as nothing really interesting happens. Morpheus is portrayed basically as a petulant child, needing others to tell him what to do and how to behave. Do I care about Wanda? No. Do I care that she died? No. There were others at the strip club, and they all died, didn't they? You don't care about them either. What about the first guy that was killed at the construction site? I don't care about him either. Nor does the show even try to give us a reason to care about him. Having read the source material, it gets a 1. Unfortunately, that is the lowest number I can give it. The show is just trash, and there's nothing to look forward to in the coming episodes. All we get is more of the same. Girl bosses, black power, white men evil, a woke world. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. And just to be clear, none of those narratives are in the source material, not even wokeness. To have one of my favorite comic runs to be imagined into this abomination is such a disappointment. The Sandman, Coraline, Stardust, those books would have been Neil Gaiman's legacy. Instead, this show, this absolute word of a show, along with his personal transgressions, will be his legacy. I don't know if it was worth it, but it's definitely fitting. And that'll do it for this video. I'm sorry for the delay in getting this one out, but I needed a break after the Season of Mist story arc. I can't believe there's 7 more episodes to slog through, but I appreciate you all slogging along with me. So thank you all for watching. And as always, until next time.
How is it, Watson?
It is disgusting, Holmes.
Oh, you betcha, yeah.